Welcome back to Bumblebee. I'm your host, Taylor McWaters.
And I'm Colin McWaters. Here are the top 10 unusual achievements in history. Coming in at number 10, the youngest kid to climb Everest. America's Jordan Romero was only 13 in 2010 when he climbed Everest. When I was 13, my biggest achievement was my Kinect's roller coaster before it mysteriously broke. Taylor. He's the youngest person to ever successfully climb this legendary point. Jordan, an avid hiker with stepmom and dad, decided to set out his goals very high. Very, very high, and be the youngest climber to climb each continent's highest point. However, there is also a young woman from India by the name of Malvath Purna, also age 13, also climbed this mountain. Look, I don't care who did it first, that's amazing. 13 years old, Jordan beat Malavath's record by 2 years, and 2 years later, he climbed the Vincent Massive at 15, making him the youngest climber in the world to complete all of the 7 summits. He did it. He did it. These kids are X-Men, man. Huge achievement. Love to see it.
And number 9, fastest nose typer. Okay, I had to include a silly one because honestly, the last video was too fun. I'm still coming down off of our world records video. If you haven't checked that out, that's a fun time. Definitely check it out after this video. Those are wild. And so are these. Humans are fascinating. What can I say? The fastest time to type using only your nose. Davinder Singh holds this record. He can type 203 characters with his nose in 40 seconds flat. Davinder had to type out Guinness World Records have challenged me to type this sentence using my nose in the fastest time using only his nose. Of course. And it took him 40 seconds. That's amazing. I tried this before I came into this room. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, that's super impressive. I used to do this all the time on my keyboard growing up for no reason at all. Guys, a woodpecker on the keyboard. Also, I'm coming for your time, Davinder. How do you control alt delete? Ears, nose, tongue? Or is it tongue, nose, ears? I'm trying to figure it out. I challenge you to leave a comment down below using just your nose. You only get one shot too. Don't cheat. Stretch that neck. Good luck. We'll see you down there.
Number 8, vaccines. Today's age, I am so thankful that doctors and scientists were messing around with needles hundreds of years ago. We're very blessed. We're very lucky to have access to this world-changing achievement. And COVID-19, since 2020, thank goodness for the timeless effort and research of these brave people dedicated during their entire lives. Selfless and beautiful. The smallpox vaccine was invented in 1796 by English physician Edward Jenner. Vaccines contain a microorganism or virus that is weakened, alive, or dead. Using their proteins and toxins from them, stimulate the body's adaptive immunity and prevent sickness from the infectious disease. Brilliant. Brilliant. A vaccination is the most effective method of preventing infectious diseases and widespread immunity. Largely responsible for the eradication of polio and tetanus from much of the world, smallpox was the first disease the vaccine was created for. Do you know how many rusty nails I had stepping on as a kid? Like walking around barefoot at the cottage? I've had like 11 tetanus shots right there. Thank you. Thank you.
Number 7, monkey vocal tracts. Okay, this was a fascinating study done back in 2016, and I hope you haven't heard about it because it's amazing. This was breaking science news. I remember seeing it because it terrified me. It intrigued me. It did all the things to me. The most unsettling thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. Here we go. Research done back in 2016 showed that macaques have a vocal tract capable of speaking. Yeah, the lucky thing for us is that they don't have the brain power to make words happen. Because if they did, this is what they would sound like according to science.
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me? Like, what a weird sentence to choose. Also, to like show the world what monkeys would sound like. Will you marry me? Like, why not pick like, stay at school? I don't know. It's also so quick. It's a 1-second YouTube video. It's terrifying. It popped up out of nowhere. Will you hit that thumbs up?
Number 6, the Wright Brothers. For obvious reasons. And because they're brothers. Same age difference between them too, huh? Wilbur and Orville Wright, aviation pioneers. Brothers, baby. And firstly, bicycle makers. With only a high school education each, the brothers began tinkering and tailoring in their shop. Tailoring. Finding success with some early designs. Starting off as the Wright kites, then the design leading to hang gliders, which they would dive off huge sand dunes for. Years of bumps and bruises and failed prototype after failed prototype, and the brothers' flying machine finally began taking some shape. They started designing more controls, propellers, rudders, wings, engines, you name it. They were motivated to get this thing off the ground. 4 years of messing around, the brothers made the Wright Flyer, the first engine-powered, fully flyable aircraft. From kite to plane. Dude, Top Gun's got nothing on these guys. They were the original wingman to each other. Fun fact, they only flew together once. The brothers were scared and made a pact that they would never fly at the same time. Just in case they died, their ideas would live on with one of them. They'd probably just get the giggles the whole time up there, huh? From horse buggy to breaking sound barriers, all within their lifetime too. It's the power of siblings, dude.
Number 5, the discovery of penicillin. Sometimes miracles happen when nobody is looking, like kickflips. See, I've never seen Kyle do a kickflip, but he promises that he can do a kickflip, just, not when the family's looking, obviously. Okay. Alexander Flemming wasn't looking when he accidentally discovered penicillin back in 1928. Now at the time he was actually studying Staphylococcus, which was a bacteria that causes infections and boils and all that nasty stuff. But right before Alexander left for a well-earned 2-week vacation, he left a petri dish with some of said Staphylococcus on the lab table, rather than, you know, stored away in an incubator. During this time off, a penicillium mold spore just drifted in the room, either through the window or the lab stairwell, some Horton Here's a Who method type commute, and the temperature of the room, the lack of one Alexander Flemming, all these conditions allowed for the mold to fight back and prevent said bacteria from further growing. He discovered this antibacterial substance was only produced by strains of penicillium, and now we're a little bit more healthy, a little bit. Keep those masks on.
Number 4, Tin Lizzzy. It's the early 1900s, like 2 years before the Wright brothers were flying around in the Flyer 3. There wasn't much on the road. Henry Ford, famous for Ford Motors, we all know today, was doing his own tinkering and tailoring. You see, I look at these pictures and I see a vintage leather couch, an umbrella top, bigger bike tires, and flashlights. The whip has come a long way, I guess. And when Henry launched the Model T, it was over. A revolutionary vehicle. Steering wheel on the left side, gas tank right up front, and an extensive use of the lightweight, strong metal alloy known as vanadium steel. It's a Captain America shield, no? The improvements and innovations allowed the world to move towards a quicker, easier way to experience life, and pretty much every car designed since has borrowed it from this model. The car came with a toolkit, horn, and a windshield now as an option. This guy changed automobile manufacturing forever. Super affordable and came in a nice matte black. Go Ford.
Number 3, the man who saved 30,000 bees. With a name like Bumblebee, how do we not mention Gary Shem? Because bees are at risk due to colony collapse disorder, Gary stepped up and made a difference. We often swat at them or, you know, run from these hairy beasts, but bees are vital. Without bees, humans would also fail miserably. Gary removed and rehomed 30,000 bees all by himself. He's not only saving bees, but he's saving humanity. That sounded like a James Cameron catchphrase there. That was crazy. He's not saving bees, he's saving us. Gary, you're the bee's knees, brother. That's the truth. Thanks for making a difference. Now buzz off, hit that thumbs up.
Number 2, the moon landing. On this day, 53 years ago, well, maybe yesterday at this point, the first human being took their first steps on Earth's moon known as the moon. The Russians were hard landing things on the moon at this point. We're trying to. Basically just smashing probes into the moon to see if we could even get there. From that point, it was game on. The space race had begun. Russia versus the States. Like a good hockey game. US's NASA program frantically building rockets to return humans home. And then, in 1969, 10 years after the Russians' first object to the moon, our boy Buzz Aldrin and the Apollo 11 crew took our first steps. Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, the first crew up and down. That's one small step for what is it again? There is hesitancy, however, and speculation today about if we ever even went there or not. Tons of conspiracy theories surrounding the UAP phenomenon has made people scratch their heads over the years. Why haven't we been back in like 50 years? The space race has revolutionized math and science to this day, remains an incredible feat for the human race. Hey, humans are smart, man. You sure it's not Buzz Lightyear? I think it's Buzz Lightyear.
And finally, number 1, the car shovel. In the early days, old-timey automobiles were obviously super dangerous, right? They didn't have a rear view camera, cars couldn't park or drive themselves at this point. They just went, auga! And then went so slow, so impossibly slow. Now, they were comedically slow, of course, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't hurt if you got bumped by one, right? With every great invention comes a hilarious new problem. In this case, it was people hidden behind the fog as you were driving, impossibly slow. Cars were also new to civilians. Nobody really knew how to drive these ever-changing machines, and people were just getting hit. People were getting hit by cars a lot in the 1930s. That's really what was going on. I'm not sure how effective that auga was, but people just weren't expecting heavy machinery to pop out of an alley at 2 a.m. So in comes inventor A.J. Grafdam. His solution was to just attach a bench, like a couch, in the front of these cars. So if you hit somebody, inevitably, they can just sit and enjoy the views of Carnaby Street until you figure out where the brake pedal is, and then stop 15 blocks later, because that's realistically what happened. A lot.
Hey, it's nice to end on a nice note, isn't it?
Yeah, we've done some pretty disgusting lists, I guess, recently.
We've also done some pretty amazing things, Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm Kyle McWaters.
And I'm Taylor McWaters.
And if you enjoyed this video, hit a thumbs up down below and subscribe.
Great. See you next time on Bumblebee.
Why are you holding me?
Okay.